Hello. So I am not through writing my story, but I decided to go ahead and do the your story tag questions because I'm like 77,000 words into the story and I know how it's going to finish, so why not just go ahead and do this tag. So here we are. Okay, so number 1, tell us about your story. So for those of you who haven't been following my videos, I've been calling this story Willow's story because I don't have a title yet. Yeah guys, I know, it's a problem. I'm working on it. I'm going to figure this out. I just haven't sat down and thought about it yet. Basically, my story is about a girl named Aurelia. She is on Earth and she has a problem in the form that her father disappeared a year ago, just mysteriously. Everybody thinks he's dead, but she doesn't think he would just up and disappear because that's not who he is as a person. So she's trying to come to grips with this and it's not working out. And her father had always told her when she was younger, if something ever were to happen to me, go to this graveyard. So she goes to this graveyard several times, and then whenever my story begins, she goes back to the graveyard and then she goes into an underground tomb, and then voila, she is now in a different world, and this world's called Terra. So on Terra, that's where all the magical creatures live, and as soon as she gets there, she meets these 2 witches, Isabella and Roz, and they basically tell her, okay, well, you're here for a purpose, probably to find your father. She finds out the underworld's there, so that's their destination. So go to the underworld, see if they can find her father, figure out what's going on so she can get those answers that she needs. Alright, yeah, that in a nutshell. 2, tell us about your characters. So Aurelia is not the most confident person. She's kind of doubtful of herself. She doesn't believe she can do things that she's told she's got to do. But along the way, she kind of finds her confidence, and she's very caring as a character. She cares about the other characters. She's very thankful to have them because she is so lucky to have such a great group of people around her. Yeah, that's what I got. And then you have the 2 witches, Isabella and Roz. So Isabella is the more sarcastic. She doesn't really give a crap about anything. She'll say whatever's on her mind. She's kind of a brat sometimes. And then Roz, she's the quiet, calm, collected, wise individual, if you will. And then they meet another character along the way. His name's Ryan, and he is a dragon when they meet him. There's a story behind that as well. And Aurelia and Ryan end up having a very close relationship, and there's a connection between the 2 of them that's not... I'm not going to mention it because it'll ruin the story, but they do have a connection. There's more to their story than what you would think. Aurelia doesn't know it though, and there's also a reason for that. And then I also have Orville, who was a talking mouse. He was there for comedic relief. He's the smart one. He's also smart. Roz is like the wise one, and Orville is also wise. He's there for advice. He has really great hearing. He helps them along the way because of the different things that he has to offer, such as that. Okay, my favorite friendship is Ryan and Aurelia, and that's because you get to see them grow as characters. You get to see the past, you get to see the future, you kind of see what's going on, and I just like their personalities because in the beginning, Aurelia's like, meh, she's kind of standoffish and Ryan's not, and then she comes to terms with things, and things get a lot better once she does that, so I like seeing that development. I enjoyed writing it, so that's my favorite. So what's my favorite scene? This is question number 4. My favorite scene would probably be, so there's a scene where Ryan, I told you he's a dragon, well, he's not always a dragon, and whenever he turns to his other form and he walks into, they're having this big dinner, so he walks into this dinner room, and the entire time Aurelia is like staring him down. She's like, who is this hottie? Like, what is going on? This guy is so hot. And she just is speechless, can't say anything. And he comes and sits beside her, and it's Ryan, and she's like, what? I thought you were a dragon. I'm confused. So that's my favorite scene just because I loved writing it. It was so much fun, and she was super shocked. That made it that much more fun. Okay, number 5. How did this story come about? Well, way back when, if you can see, there is an outline up there, that very tall thing. Yeah. I wrote that outline for a story that I don't think I ever really finished it. I think I got 60,000 words in and stopped. I did it for NaNoWriMo. No, I did not do that one for NaNoWriMo. I did it before NaNoWriMo. But I created a world, which I called Palace at the time. I ended up changing it to Terra, and it's the same concept, but it was different. But I started writing that story, and I had this whole other world that I created. I created a map. I did everything. So I just kind of, I don't know. I sat down, I was talking to my mom, I was like, I'm just brainstorming ideas, and the more we talked, the more ideas I got, and it stuck with me. And then I realized, hey, I need to write this story because this is a story I want to write, and I'm excited. And I'll be honest, I have not outlined this story at all. In the sense of outlined then write, I've like reverse outlined. Yeah, it's weird, I know. And I've just written it, and I'm glad. There are things my characters do, I'm like, oh, that's what you're doing today? Cool, thanks for letting me know. Great, let me just figure out what to do with that. Appreciate it. And it makes it so much more fun. I love it. But literally all I did was sit down with my mom, we brainstormed, I wrote it down, and then I just started writing the story. But I'd already created the world prior, so it made it easier in that aspect because I didn't have to recreate a world. But yeah. Alright, so number 6. What is the theme of your story? Mine's kind of a coming of age story, even though she's older, in the sense that she figures out who she is and she comes to terms with it, and she's developing as a character and as a person. So I would say it's more of a coming of age or a development growth type of theme. Yeah. And then what's the one thing you love about your story? I love my characters. I love the creativity. I love the fantasy aspect. I love a lot of things about my story. It's been so much fun writing it, and I most days haven't even had to think about it. I just sit down and write. And that's the kind of story I want to write. The one that I don't have to think about because it's there. It's like my characters exist, and I am merely their scribe. I'm just here to write the story for them. They tell me what to write, I do it, and then I get mad at them because I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Why are you messing things up? But it makes me so happy. Like, that's the one thing I love about my story. It's fun. I don't have to think about it. It's just, it's the most fun story I've ever written, and I'm going to actually finish this story, unlike the other 3 stories I started in the same world that I never finished, but I'll go back and finish them. It's just, it's made sense. It's right. This is what I was supposed to do. But yeah. So those are my tag questions. If you guys have any questions, you want to ask me any questions about my story, please do. One of these days I will finish it, and one of these days I will have a title. But just ask any questions you want down below, and I will answer to the best of my ability. And then I will also put the tag questions below, so if you want to do this tag, you can also do this tag. And that's all I got for today, so see you guys later.